welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. I grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy this not midweek, we're not midweek. This episode we're going to be going over, I don't really know what to call it, but once again, I'll figure out a way to call it. Why do people get so angry in WoW? That's kind of what I'm going to go with. Well, that's what the title of this episode will be, but it might not be what it says up there. But yeah, it's one thing that we've all experienced in World of Warcraft. It's people being either very toxic or annoyed or just downright dickish to like yourself, or maybe you've been the one who's like been like that to other people. But everyone gets angry in World of Warcraft, most people do, for very different reasons, whether it be PvE or PvP, etc. But we will obviously start off with the weekly news. This bonus event week, we have Legion Time Walking, as well as pet battles, so you get more XP for your pets, as well as Legion Time Walking. This brings back the Mage Tower, this brings back Legion Dungeons, that you can get the currency of Time Walking badges to buy mounts, pets, or reputations, etc. Cooking Impossible is your brawl for the week. This one is very simple. It is Mr. Pandaria type of battleground, and essentially you need to add ingredients to your cooking pot. This cooking pot needs 15 to 20 ingredients, I forget which, and once you have delivered all of these ingredients, you win the battleground. It is very simple. Oh my god, every single week I mess up these world bosses. Basil? Yeah, screw it, I'm going with Basil Brush. Basil. Basil? For God's sake. Basil is your world boss for this week. He is in the top right of Azure Span. You can get some decent gear from him, just as well as adding to the Revival Catalyst weekly. Bursting, Explosive, Fortified, and Thundering are your mythic affixes for this week. Bursting, whenever a mob dies, essentially it will do a bit of damage, and if you burst or if you kill a lot of mobs at the same time, this does stack and do a lot of damage. So kill everything very quickly and pop a defensive, or kill things very spread out. Explosive, very simple, balls of fire, you kill the balls of fire. Very simple, very squishy, but make sure they do not detonate. Fortified, the mobs in the dungeon and the mobs that they summon are a bit more tankier and deal more damage, so make sure you bring a talent build that is easier to kill mobs with rather than bosses. Thundering is your seasonal affix. This is where you get a negative or positive charge, increasing your damage by a set amount. You want to run into someone with the opposite charge when this is about to run out, otherwise you will take a lot of damage and be stunned for a certain amount of time, so you want to definitely make sure that you cleanse this ability. Aspect of the Turtle is what we're going to be looking at now. Aspect of the Turtle, for those who are relatively new to World of Warcraft, was once called Deterrence for hunters. So Deterrence was what it was called before Legion, so we will be looking at that to start with. So in patch 1.7, it had one change. It now increased the parry chance when using fist weapons. It's a very weird change, but essentially what Deterrence was just increased your parry chance. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't like a massive cooldown in both World of Warcraft Classic and Burning Crusade. It was only in Wrath of the Lich King where it became a very big cooldown. So in Wrath of the Lich King, it had 4 changes. The cooldown reduced to 3 minutes, and now also increased your chance to resist spells by 60%. Now has a new spell effect, which is very cool. Design changed to grant 100% parry and 100% chance to deflect spells coming from the front, but prevents the hunter from attacking. Lasts 5 seconds, 60-second cooldown. This is very good. A 60-second cooldown is very, very strong in terms of a bubble effect, essentially. This ability now allows the hunter to parry spells and attacks from behind as well as in front. Now has a new visual spell effect. This is where the blades are going around the hunter. And finally, for Wrath of the Lich King, now also increase the chance of ranged attacks to miss the hunter by 100% while under its effect. So it became a full-on paladin bubble, essentially. In Cataclysm, it had 5 changes. It is no longer a talent, now available to all hunters. It is now available at level 78, up from level 36, and has had its training cost updated. Now provides 100% chance for melee attacks to miss instead of 100% parry chance. This means that the attacks that cannot be parried, notably some rogue abilities that can be prevented by deterrence, and the hunter will gain the benefit of deterrence even when disarmed. So there was counterplay to this. You could disarm the hunter and they couldn't pop deterrence, but this counterplay is gone now. Deterrence no longer requires a melee weapon to be equipped. And the final change in Cataclysm now also reduces damage taken by 30% while active. Very simple. In Mists of Pandaria, it had a few changes. So Deterrence now properly prevents the stun effect from the warrior's talent Warbringer. Now has a 3-minute cooldown, up from 2 minutes, but has 2 charges. You had 2 bubbles, essentially, in Mists of Pandaria as a hunter. How cool is that? That's really cool, actually. Deterrence should now correctly have a 5-second cooldown after using a charge for hunters with the Crouching Tiger Hidden Chimera talent. That's always a nice sort of a set of words to say. Deterrence modified by the talent Crouching Tiger Hidden Chimera should now correctly provide immunity to physical interrupt effects. That's really cool. Wait, provide immunity so they could get kicked on like aim shot. Is that what that's telling me? Oh, that was weird. That's weird. I can't imagine a hunter being kicked now. That's kind of what it says to me. And then in Warlords of Draenor, it resolved an issue where deterrence modified by Glyph of the Mirrored Blades was not reflecting spells back at the target. Seems very weird that you would want this glyph because anyone who was smart enough would just stop casting into deterrence anyway. And then it was in Legion changed to Aspect of the Turtle, and it had a couple of changes in Legion. Hunters are no longer able to capture/assault objectives in PvP while they are under Aspect of the Turtle. This makes sense. All you could do was run in on top of a flag, press Aspect of the Turtle, and cap a flag. Nothing that they could do could stop you, essentially, so kind of makes sense. And the final change in Legion, now learned at level 70, was level 50. In Battle for Azeroth, it had 1 change, can now be cancelled by pressing the button a second time. And finally, in Shadowlands, it was now learnt at level 8 rather than 70. Very weird. What level are we now? What level are we in Dragonflight? We're level 70 now, aren't we? So, okay, kind of makes sense that it would get reduced, considering level 60 was the, pinnacle at Shadowlands. But I would have thought it'd be like a level 30 spell, not a level 8. That seems very, very weird. But let's get into it. So, why do people get angry? People get angry at anything in World of Warcraft. It can be PvP, PvE, it can be pet battles even, it can be absolutely anything ridiculous. I know that a lot of, I know that I've angered a lot of people, not intentionally, I do want to add, but I have angered people by tagging a mob, simply because I needed this mob to complete a quest. People have messaged me angrily, just slating me, essentially, swearing at me, whatever, because I tagged a mob. And, it's one of them things, it's you got to be faster kind of thing. It's every man for himself. You don't own the world in World of Warcraft. It is an MMO. Other people are in the game, and you will have to deal with other people. If you cannot deal with other people being in your game, in your layer, then don't play the game. Get off the game. If that's honestly, go play a single player game. Go play God of War or, Forbidden, what is it? Forza Horizon? No. Forgotten the name of it. PS4 based. I've completely forgotten. Horizon? Something like that. You'll know what I mean. But essentially, like, go play a single player game. If you cannot deal with people tagging your mob, then, like, you shouldn't be playing the game during the day at all. You should be playing at night when barely anyone's online. That's the thing. I've had so many people rage at me for simply killing them. So, an example of this is in Classic, when the honor system dropped. People do this in retail as well, but when the honor system dropped in Classic, I had a lot of people who were, or I was doing PvP. I was just out in the world doing some PvP, getting, what rank I wanted, which was rank 11, I believe. I wanted the mount. So when I had some free time as well, I'd be out and about killing any horde that I found that was high enough level that would give me honor. And some of these times, obviously, it's a bit shitty and you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But other times, like, there would be people who were being ganked by level 60s, max levels, like shamans, rogues, warriors, whatever. And the thing is, this was in, like, Tanaris or something. So they weren't getting any honor, they were just doing it to be a dick, essentially. I've gone up and killed them and essentially camped them. Like, because I got bored of doing battlegrounds, I would just camp them, make sure that the person gets their quest done, and then I would leave, that kind of thing. Well, there's been situations where I have camped them so well and they are so determined to kill me that they just keep dying over and over. It's kind of that thing where you know that they're raging and that rage is making them play worse and that making their decisions like worse against you. So you just outplay them more and more. The more times they res, the more you outplay them, etc. So in Tanaris, there is a cove on the right-hand side where it's loads of pirates. Both Horde and Alliance have quests there. You got to collect pirate hats, kill certain amount of pirates, etc. I stumbled across a level 45 that was leveling there. This is back a couple years, but essentially he was being killed by a horde. He was being killed by a horde, and this horde essentially was just camping him. It was a warrior, I believe. It's always a warrior. So what he did was ask for help, and I was in Tanaris at the time. I think I was doing noggin foggers, like I was buying noggin foggers or whatever on my mage. And I was like, yeah, I'll come help. I mean, may as well. It's someone being a dick. It's a warrior. I'm a mage. I basically win as soon as I turn up. So he dies. The warrior dies. He gets mad, reses. I kill him again instantly, essentially. And this keeps happening. He eventually does kill the level 45 again. And what I tell him is kind of just run out into the water if you have any trouble, because I can catch someone that's swimming faster, or that's swimming because I have blink and they don't. They essentially have to just swim. So I see this guy running and he's in the water. My level 45 that I'm helping is in the water, like very far out. And essentially there's a cave system to get to these pirates. And he's going to the tip of where the rock is, like where this land protrudes from the island. And I'm going round one side of the cave, swimming round, and he's coming round the other side. So we're going to meet at the very pinnacle, and this warrior doesn't know that I'm coming round. So obviously he turns the corner and immediately 180 and starts swimming back to shore. The dude obviously got pulled up because I'm a mage. I can blink in water and close the distance. And I immediately see his body disappear. And I think nothing of it. I think, oh, okay, this is like early on in Classic. There's still like a layer or two. So I think, okay, nothing of it. I tell him, like, he's gone, you don't have to worry or whatever. And I go back to Gadget Zan and he carries on with his quest. We part ways. About 3 minutes later, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, I get a message from Jaina Sucks. Jaina being my character name. And essentially, what this guy does, this guy literally told me I had to pay to like get my second account active, to get my second WoW account active so that I could make an alliance character on this realm to message you. I made this guy so angry, he paid an extra £10 just to get his other World of Warcraft account up and running because you couldn't make a alliance character on the same realm in Classic. How amazing is that? That you got under someone's skin that much that, you know, they actually paid to just message you. I could have made a killing in Classic if I did that all the time. But essentially, yeah, he just messages me like... He openly admitted this, by the way. He openly said, I've just paid 10 quid to message you. You suck. You know, absolutely bombarding me with messages. All the swear words in the, like, in the dictionary, whatever. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. And I don't even care. I just put, hey. I literally just put a K, have a nice day. Something like that. And I know that I don't need to put anything because obviously I wouldn't say I've won, but I've won. I've won purely on the basis that this guy has paid an extra £10 just to message me and I couldn't care less about his messages. That's the thing. So a simple no, like if I didn't respond to him at all, like give him barely any response, then it annoys him even more and I win even more. The least amount that I put was the better like option rather than like getting into an argument, because who wants to waste their energy on arguing with someone who's clearly in a fit of rage? So people get angry over the smallest of things. This dude was literally camping like someone 15 levels below him, and he cries when a level 60 turns up and just smacks him about a bit and sends him on his way with a red arse, essentially. Like, it's absolutely pathetic. It's kind of like every undead rogue in Stranglethorn. Whenever a level 60 turned up, they couldn't fight them because they're dog shit at the game. Every level 60 like undead rogue in Stranglethorn who actually ganked the level 30s at like Nessingwary camp couldn't play the game. And I will stand by that until the day that I die, because they just couldn't. Every time I turned up on my main, they would run away. Without a doubt. Like, it was ridiculous. Another story that I know was actually quite recent. I was in Dragonflight and me and a mate of mine were testing out new characters. I was testing out I was on my monk. I was on my monk healer, and my mate was on... trying to remember. I think his warrior. It might have been warrior. I'm trying to think now. It doesn't matter, essentially, what he was. No, it was rogue. He was on rogue. And this rogue he hadn't picked up for a while. It's someone who's just newly gone to the DPS role, so he's testing out all the melee DPS to see what he enjoys the most, essentially. So he tested out the rogue a little bit, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be up for some threes. So we find a threes partner in Looking for Group. It's someone that is on my friends list. I don't really know them. I usually put like notes next to them, but this guy didn't have a note for some reason. And I'm like, sure, like I really don't care. It's like very low rated threes. It's just to chill. It's to have a fun time. No one's really caring. So the first couple games, you know, a couple mistakes here and there. We like probably 3-2, 3-1, something like that. 4-1, 4-2, any kind of record like that. But essentially the losses, there'd be a sly comment about them from this random that we found in Looking for Group. It was always, well, why did you die there? And it's like, me? What do you mean? Why did I die there? I died there because they got to me, locked me down. I had no trinket. I had nothing else. And, like, the way that I died there was in a, like, fear into a stun, whereas you could have tremored the fear and I could have gotten away or something like that. But, you know, I didn't say anything. It's just sort of sly comments. You're kind of thinking, oh, whatever. I really don't care because I don't want to get into any of it. And then it's, like... the third or fourth loss, it's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. Just heal me. And it's like, I'm in CC. I'm in a fear again. I'm in a 6-second fear, and you tremor totemed a Hammer of Justice. Hammer of Justice can't be tremor totemed. It's for charms, fears, and all that. And it's like, what do you want me to do? Like, pull a magic heal out of my arse? It's ridiculous. And then it's kind of like, me and him are obviously in Discord just having a fun time, and it's like, oh, well, it's one of them things. It's kind of like a Ret Paladin thing. You just get one shot. He dropped so fast. And it's like, whatever. And then, like, it's the comments slowly building up, and you just think, oh, I can't be bothered. So after this one, it's like, we don't say anything, and it's like, we'll do one more and call it. So we lose the next one, and he just starts going off. He just starts going absolutely ballistic. And it's like, this is ridiculous. How are you not healing me? Why are you in CC? And it's like, the whole purpose of arenas is to get CC and kill, like, the target. I can't stop all forms of CC if I've already used Trinket, Port, Drop to keep them away, Incap, Song of Chi-Ji, Leg Sweep to stop them from doing this. But I can't do it all. I need you to tremor a bloody fear. This guy and his tremor totems were awful. There were so many times that he could have used grounding totem to ground a Hodge or anything like that to stop a fear. He could have tremor totem, but no, it was all out of whack, out of kilter. You know, it's kind of one of them things where the team chemistry isn't hitting, that kind of thing. You know that it will take a while. So we kind of just don't say anything. He's just going off on one, and it's like, yeah, we'll call it GG's, and we kick him, and we just put up another group, essentially. That's it. So he starts rage messaging me. I'm not even the leader of the group, by the way. It was my mate that kicked him, but apparently I'm the one that gets the rage messages. So he's going really ballistic, absolutely mega ballistic. So I just simply put, dude, it's a team game, arenas. It's not all on one person. There were multiple times where you could have tremored, got me out of CC, stopped the CC in the first place. There's many different factors to it. Get over it. Get over yourself, essentially. And then I blocked him. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's it, I guess. Like, I don't have to deal with that. This guy switched over to another character and started spamming. Like, hard spamming messaging me. Like, you are ridiculous. How are you even on my friends list? Like, 2100 scrub. And, like, it's all, like, crazy. And he's, like, check PvP in me and all that. And he's going, oh, clearly boosted. And, by the way, this guy never even got above, like, 1800 in any season. So, clearly boosted. When I get Gladiator, like, that I fully streamed, by the way. I fully streamed it all and have, like, footage of it all. And all of that, but yeah, I got boosted. And it's like, you're absolutely crazy. And I just simply put, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. So as I hit enter, it's like, oh, you're now blocked. And it's like, okay, great. Like, how childish. How absolutely childish to just spam message people, like, really going for it as well. Hard, like, slandering them and stuff like that. And then just block them and log out. But he also he logged onto that character just to do that as well, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way. It's kind of one of them things you shouldn't take it personally, even though it might feel personal because obviously he's just messaging you and slandering you. But it's like, he's clearly just sad in what he's doing. Like, there's no point of me getting upset over this or wasting any time over this person. He's clearly just rage messaging because he's got nothing better to do in his life. And that's kind of the way that you have to look at it when it comes to these types of people, because you just won't win. They're not thinking logically or rationally. You just will not win with these types of people. It's always just, yeah, but I'm right, I don't care. I clearly played flawlessly, even though I'm like 1400 on my shaman, and it's like, yeah, alright. That's the reason you're 1400, because you play flawlessly every game. Yeah, alright, bud. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that people don't take responsibility for their own mess-ups in an arena, and instead they will go straight to spam rage messaging someone who, by the way, didn't even say anything. I didn't say anything in terms of, like, negative towards him or anything like that. I just simply put, yeah, that's me done, GG's. And my mate kicked him from the group. That's it. That's literally it. And I got the message. So it's kind of like, where does this rage even come from? Like, Jesus Christ, we went even in arenas. It's not like the end of the world. You haven't lost your fucking leg, have you? You haven't had to have an amputated leg or appendage. It's a game. We lost a few games of arena. It's not going to cause the end of the world. I don't know. There's so many people that are angry in WoW, and the best thing that you can do is kind of just understand that if they are messaging you, you are the one that's in the better position, because they're clearly raging. They're clearly so angry that they're not thinking straight, or this has boiled their blood to the point that they can't play the game, essentially. They are there to just message you, and you are their entire focus. Whereas if you just carry on playing, they literally have no effect on you. You choose to have what effect like they have on you, essentially, by how much you put into it. Now, obviously, if you want to troll them a bit, it's sometimes fun to do. If they were being a bit of a dick, then by all means, they kind of deserve it. You'll be like, oh my God, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you sort of have a little bit argument with them, but I feel like that's kind of what they want. The best sort of thing that you can do is just simply put K. That's what really gets them. If you really want to, like, get under someone's skin that annoyed you, and they're clearly in a fit of rage, you just simply put K. The letter K and have a good day, like smiley face. That's always sort of a go-to for me, because that will annoy them a lot more so than you rage messaging them back or arguing with them, because that's what they want. They want to release that rage, and through an argument they can do that. Whereas if you just simply put one letter and a couple words, it's not enough for them. But yeah, you're going to get people who are angry at the game, like, every single time. For tagging a mob all the way to, like, PvP, it's absolutely ridiculous what you find, like, people get angry over. Especially loot. Loot is a whole nother story that people get angry over. It's like, what the fuck? Why did you need on that item? That's clearly a hunter weapon. And it's like, okay, well, it's a wand firstly, so they can't even use that, hunters. You know, that kind of stupid stuff. But that is it for this episode. Thank you all very much for listening, as always. Do check out the Pig and Whistle Patreon. It's all linked down below, as well as Twitch and YouTube. Constant stuff happening over on them platforms. Thank you all very much for listening, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.